How about you, Paige?
What was interesting about this is actually felt like this is the first time I truly took ownership over my identity and like how I wanted to define myself. And I'm sure part of that is also just like being in my 30s and maybe just having a little more like autonomy and self-awareness generally. But when I moved to Dallas, I was, 22, 23, like very much like young, bushy tailed. This is what I think people want me to do with my life kind of thing. Like, I don't know, this is the right next step. I'm like going to places because my friends are going to it. Like, okay, that's just like what we do. I feel like I had a lot of great life experiences, but I don't necessarily feel like I was the driver of deciding like, how do I want to be defined? Like, what hobbies am I interested in? Because I was kind of afraid of stepping out on my own. Very much needed like affirmation and people's approval. And so with this move, like right off the bat, it was like, I chose this and a lot of people did not agree with what I was doing. It was like very distressing for my family, for my job, for like friend groups, like, and everyone, has been so loving and supportive, but it was a big transition for a lot of people in my life for me to do this. And I think on the outside, it looks like, again, oh, she's just moving for a cute boy. But to be honest, in a lot of ways, this was the first move that I thought, actually, like, even though I know people are going to be upset and this is going to be hard, I am choosing this for myself. Like, this is what I, in my heart of hearts, feel is the right thing. And I'm like willing to go through the discomfort of people not being okay with that for a while. And that was hard. Like, that was a hard thing to break. And then coming out here, like I said, I had so many things that I had defined myself by, like my friends, my career success, family, and just all these characteristics I was defined by that ultimately were what other people had told me. And Colorado is like not known for being the most encouraging place. So it's not like you have a big pep rally or people who are going to cheer you on. Like, there's a lot of competitiveness in the outdoor space. It's a little more aloof. And so I think it sort of forced me to decide, do I like to do these things? Like, is this how I want to spend my time? Is this the kind of person I like to be in a way I just have never had before, especially because I didn't have friends out here. So like nobody knew who I was. And I had to tell the story. I had to decide like what that was going to look like. And so it's not that, oh, I've had a complete 180. Like, I think I was a fine person before, but I feel like there's been this refinement that I feel a lot more ownership over myself and just self-awareness in a good way that I think has allowed my relationships to be healthier, where I'm not saying, tell me who I am. I'm like, this is who I am. And whether or not you like that is not actually something I'm controlling. So it's actually been very healing for a people pleaser in the corner, be like, actually, what are you happy with? And so that was like very, very eye-opening to just sort of learn as like, felt like a brand new person almost, and just how I view it. And I think ultimately I have a lot more confidence about my choices and what I'm doing, and not that they're all perfect, but I think I know I can work through them and take ownership over them. So
it's like a clarity to when you are like forced to define who you are, or like forced to articulate like, oh, who am I? And like the fact that you, Paige, like specifically leaned into like authenticity instead of being like, well, I didn't like who I was before, so I'm going to transform into a new person and like only show people like this positive side of myself that I like want them to like. But you like really dug deep and you're like, who is Paige? Used to be Paige Kemp, now it's Paige Morgan. And like, we'll talk about the name changes in a little bit, but like, so that you could like feel like more like yourself. And that's probably, I would say that's why I don't like, there's no measure of success, but why your transition to life in Denver has been successful is because you were just like, I want to be like myself, whatever that looks like, whatever, whoever likes it or not, like, I have an opportunity to do that without other people's expectations, like forming me anymore. And that's one beauty of moving to a new place is, like you said, letting those expectations just kind of fall away and being careful not to take new ones on, though. I think that can happen too.
Absolutely. Because I do think I felt like that a little bit of, again, I was like, oh, I enjoy all these hobbies, but now I'm like out here with Olympians and people who are breaking world records. Like, this is the training ground for these incredible athletes. And it's like, girl, I'm learning to ski at 30. Like, I just want to get down a ski lift without crying. Like, what on earth? You know, just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, other people are like, you have to be the best, most successful. Like, even having to, like you said, I think that's so true. It's not that you never, if you move, you don't run away from yourself. In fact, you actually like will have to encounter parts of yourself you may have actually hidden in other things. But if you do that, it's actually such a healing thing to walk through. You know, it's the like, okay, actually putting the fleshlight under the bed. There's no boogie monster. Like it's a sock, you know, it's like, okay, I can deal with the sock, but as long as I don't deal with it, it's just this boogeyman. And so I think there's a lot of like parts of my personality that's like, oh, okay. Actually, that's like, we can work on that. That's not too bad. It's good. So that's what, for anyone who's going through a move, just, you know, if it's in the hard transition, it will get better. And finding the things that ground you and that make you feel positive where you are can really help you get through it. And letting yourself go through change with the grieving process is like also okay. It doesn't have to, they can both be carried. It doesn't have to detract from the good. Because again, it's like, I loved being married to my spouse and getting to be with him, but I could also carry that with the weight of, I miss my friends. Like, I wish I could go on a walk with Keren. And like, both those things existed and were able to be carried. And that's just going to be part of transition. So